Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. The world needs to hear your message and your story, so don't deny the world of that gift within you that the universe has given you. Someone out there needs to hear your story because it will support them in feeling hope, inspired, and even transformed. Do you want to discover how I help get my clients out of their own way, show up, and confidently share their message? I would love to extend an invitation to you to join me in my free masterclass, Start Your Own Podcast from Idea to Implementation, on Wednesday, April 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Christelle Biiga. She is a super connector and the founder and owner of the platform Exposure Maven. Welcome, Christelle. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have you here. I know we've been trying to get this done for a little bit, so it's nice to finally have you here to share all about the beautiful light you put out into the world and, of course, to share your journey and your story. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Brad, for having me. I'm doing great. Yes, I'm happy we're finally doing this.
Yes, me too. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Can you tell us a little bit about the Exposure Maven platform, when you founded it, when you started the company?
Yes, absolutely. So Exposure Maven is an agency, a podcast booking agency that offers done-for-you service to heart-centered entrepreneurs who like to boost their visibility, who like to have their message heard by as many people as possible. So what we do in the agency is get them booked on top tier shows, just like yours, to make sure that they reach the right audience. They also, not just a right audience, but a big enough audience, because that's important, right? The more people know about what you do, the more chances and opportunities you have to help people. So yeah, that's what we do. As soon as we know what your business is about, the audience you're trying to reach, what you speak on, let's say you have a new book, what your book is about, who will benefit from reading it, we go ahead, find the shows, pitch you, follow up. And when we get a yes, we just let you know, hey, give you availability for your interview, and then you can go there and deliver your magic. Because, hey, who wakes up in the morning as an entrepreneur and say, what else can I add to my to-do list? No one.
Yes.
So that's why we do it for you. We understand you're already busy, so we're not asking you to do one more thing. But podcast guesting being a powerful strategy, we don't want you to miss out because you're already busy. So that's why we offer that done-for-you service.
I love it. And how long ago did you start the company?
That's been a year now, and I'm having fun with it. Yes.
Congratulations on the 1 year. That's huge. I love it.
Thank
now,
you.
I know through previous conversations with you, Christelle, that you have one hell of a story and a journey that led you to what you're doing now and was part of the inspiration behind starting Exposure Maven. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your story and your journey with the audience?
Yes, I love that. I love that because I believe people listening, maybe some of the listeners might be wondering, what is my purpose? So I hope this will be helpful for you to know that you will figure it out. And in the meantime, just do something, right? Don't sit and be frustrated because you're not sure what your purpose in life is. Because I didn't know until 1 year ago that this is going to be part of my purpose. So as you can hear from my accent, I hope you know that I'm not originally from the United States. I hope that's obvious. I really do my best to make sure that at least you can hear that. Now, okay, I'm originally from Cameroon. And for those who missed their geography lesson, that's in Africa. And so
very valuable and educational interview here today.
So yes, growing up in Cameroon as a little girl, I remember sometimes looking at strangers on the street and simply wonder, is this person happy? That's strange for a little girl to worry about adults, but I was that strange little girl. And my brain will try to be reasonable and remind me that, Christelle, you don't know these people. Why do you care? But it was really heavy in my heart. And as a late teen, it came in a different format. Rihanna was really popular, at the time. And every time she would have a new hairstyle, we will all change our hairstyle to do the exact same one, okay? So I will go to bed thinking about that, thinking about how she can influence us, even though she probably doesn't even know where Cameroon is. And I will realize that, look, the only reason she can do that is because people know her around the world. And then I would say, what if I could be known so that I can now help people be happier as I've always wanted to. Now, I didn't have a plan on what to do actually to make people happy, but I just knew that visibility was really helpful to impact as many people as possible. And again, my lovely brain will jump in and remind me that I don't sing, so I'm not the next Rihanna. So I'll go to bed thinking about that. And eventually in 2015, I decided, you know what? If I want to give this a shot, if I'm trying to achieve this level of fame, not fame like a celebrity, but visibility, have people know me around the world, it's going to be a little bit harder from Cameroon. Yes, I was doing some TV, some radio, but I just knew it will not have the same reach if I was in the place where they said everyone can become anything is possible, where the United States. So I said, okay, let's go there. So I got my visa, landed at LAX, could barely speak English at the time, had no friends or family waiting for me at the airport. And I got arrested by an immigration officer who accused me of coming here to work as a prostitute. So I was put in a detention center where I ended up spending 9 months before winning my case. And as you can imagine, as the listeners can probably understand, that was traumatic. And when I was released, I didn't want to talk about it whatsoever. I wanted to forget about it. I didn't want people to know because I had a lot of shame, which happens with trauma, right? Sometimes you didn't do anything, you were a victim, but for some reason you feel shameful. So that's where I was. So I didn't want people to know about it. I started a new job at LAX. Yeah, the same airport. I was stuck with LAX. I was just stuck with them. I had no way to escape. So I went back there to get a job. And I was lucky because it was a French airline because still my English wasn't there. But they needed French speakers, so that was lucky for me. And as I was working there, I was taking coaching programs and classes with Tony Robbins, Mary Morrissey, Bob Proctor, all those big names. And eventually I thought, oh my gosh, this was so helpful for me that probably I should be a coach so I can help people the way I've always wanted to. So I said, that's it. I'm going to be a coach. And I decided to quit my job end of 2019 because I thought, okay, I need to focus on this. This is my calling. I'm going to do this. They didn't want to let me go because, it was a great job. Everybody loved me. I loved the job, but I just knew this was my next step. So I resigned and I decided to promote my coaching business through speaking and more likely podcasting. So I started getting booked on podcasts and I was giving an interview. And when I will go there, I will not talk about my story. Okay. I will just go there and share all the things that I have learned from other coaching programs and the tools that have helped me. I was sharing that and encouraging people to work with me so that I can also help them. And one day during an interview that was in the middle of the pandemic, probably April or May 2020, I found myself sharing that story for the first time. To my own surprise. Yeah, to my own surprise, because I didn't plan to. But during the conversation with the host, I just started talking about it, right? It was too late to stop, okay? Because my brain at some point was like, what is happening here? But it was too late. I was already on the show, so I had to keep going. So the feedback that I received from sharing that story, especially during that time where people were worried and scared and confused, just made me realize that this is actually a good way to help people, to encourage people, because maybe people even listening to our conversation today have never been in jail. Thank God for you. You don't want that.
Yes.
But during that time where people were scared, I was able to remind them that I was scared too. But eventually I was able to see it through. I was able to win. So this is scary. The lockdowns, the virus, all of this is scary. Nobody saw this coming. Just like when I got my visa, I didn't think I would end up in jail. I thought I did everything right. Just like you planned everything right for 2020, this is happening. Life happens. But when that happens, just remember that you have what it takes to see it through. Don't give up. Just keep going, keep trying. And eventually you will see it through. So that story encouraged so many people that the little girl in me was happy that, oh my gosh, I am able to help complete strangers, right? Even the ones that will not work with me, by hearing my story, they feel encouraged, they feel inspired. So yes, I'm doing this. So I started sharing my story more intentionally this time. And last year finally hit me. That's why I was talking to the people, maybe listening and thinking, what is my purpose in life? It took me that long to finally connect the dots and be like, wait a minute. Your story is just one story. Your expertise is just one expertise to help the people who need it. But there are other people out there who need help with their finances, who need help with their relationships, who need help with their mental health, whatever that is. And there are people out there with stories, experts out there with tools, with skills that can actually solve those problems and help all those people be happy. How about you get those experts booked on podcasts so that together you make the difference in the world that you have always wanted to make? So that's when I decided to start this agency so that my little girl is happy, because I know that with all those experts, we have more people happy in the world, which, I've always been my purpose. So just be encouraged. If you haven't found your purpose yet, it's coming.
Incredible story, Christelle. I mean, I was blown away when you told it to me the first time, but the incredible strength and courage and resilience that you showed and what you endured coming to a country where you didn't speak the language, you had no one here to help or support you, and getting thrown right into prison. I can't even begin to fathom or imagine that experience. I mean, nobody wants to go to prison. And the fact that you just arrived from another country and wound up in prison, and then to go back and work at the airport where that imprisoned you, that started that whole process for you, is just unbelievable.
To my defense, for the airport job, my brain had done such a great job at shutting down the memory that I didn't even remember what has happened there. So it was traumatic enough for me to shut it down. So when I started working there, I didn't remember. So that's why. Because if not, maybe I would be too scared.
How did you remain hopeful for those 9 months you were in prison that you were going to get out? How did you do that?
I didn't. So, and this is really an important conversation for the listeners, because I know life happens in different ways, right?
Yeah.
The pandemic was a time where we felt like we're all in this together. But it doesn't mean that every day there are not things happening in our lives that are challenging, that are scary, that really feel horrible. And we wonder, how am I going to survive this? So to answer your question, I didn't think I had what it takes. And that's interesting how you were saying, I can't even begin to imagine. I couldn't either. When I was applying for my visa in Cameroon, if they had told me, okay, visa granted, but this is what's going to happen. Once you arrive there, right from the airport, you're going to jail, you're going to stay there 9 months. I would be like, whoa, wait a minute. This is not happening. There's no way I can survive one night in jail. It's not possible. I don't have that. But that's interesting, because we as human beings, we have that tendency to not give ourselves enough credit. We don't see ourselves capable of a lot of things that actually we have within us the capability of doing.
Yeah.
So if they tell us in advance, sometimes we see opportunities, we say, oh no, this is too much. No, I can't do this. I'm not qualified. I'm not equipped. I don't have what it takes. But that's why sometimes life feels like, okay, we're just going to throw you in the water and you're going to figure it out, because
in the deep end, here you go.
For permission, you will say you can't. So let's just throw you in the water and let's see how you survive. And you realize that actually you could swim. So I think that was just my opportunity to see how resilient I can be, because I didn't sit there the first and said, okay, I don't care how long this is going to take. I'll do this. No, I was crying like a baby for weeks.
Sure.
For a week, I was wondering what was happening. And I was thinking maybe the easy route is my best option here. Because remember, I wasn't sentenced to 9 months. I ended up spending 9 months there, because each time you go to court, you have court date once a month. The first question the judge asks you is, do you have a lawyer? When you say, no, I don't have a lawyer. Okay, come back next month, try to find a lawyer. So that's how you end up spending 9 months there. Okay. And then you have 1 month to think, what is best for me? Maybe I should just sign a deportation paper and go back, because that option was always on the table.
Right.
You can just say, you know what, I'm done. I give up and I'm back to my safety, my comfort zone, my family, people who don't treat me like criminal. And that opportunity is always available, right? To give up. It's like you're starting a new business and things don't really work as you thought they would. You might think to yourself, or people might tell you, you know what, you had a good job. Come on. Just go get a job. You will find a job. You're good. You're smart enough. Why are you doing this to yourself? Sometimes it's your own brain telling you, why are you doing this to yourself? Just give up. It's going to be easier. Simply get a job. So the easy option is always available. It was available to me as well. And then I had to make a decision every single day. When I woke up in that jail, when they woke us up at 5 a.m. to count us, make sure we didn't run away with the frustration. And I'm not in the morning person, okay? So if you're going to wake me up at 5 a.m., you just want to screw my whole day, because I don't want to be up at 5 a.m., okay? That's not in my genes. So that was already just more frustration added, and it was crazy. So I had to make that difficult decision every day and say, I will not give up. I will see this through. I had no guarantee that even when the judge will finally hear me, I will win. There was no guarantee. And as a matter of fact, the people that I met there who were more prepared, because nobody prepared me to be in jail after having a visa.
Of course.
Other people were there. They were expecting to be there because of the way they came in. And they were preparing me the best they could. They told me what to expect and all of that. And they told me nobody never won their case in here. Even the people who had lawyers. It doesn't happen. You have a few options. If maybe you get the bailout, or you get paroled if you find a sponsor or things like that. You can't win your case. And those two options didn't work for me. They gave me a $20,000 bond to pay. I had no $20,000. I don't have a family here. And the sponsor that wanted to help me get released on parole, they denied the parole because they said I was a flight risk. I have a passport, so I can fly. I'm like,
right.
Hey, you don't want me here, but I can't go back. Okay, fine. That's fine. So the decision you have to make every time you're in that type of difficult, challenging situation in life, it's a decision no one can make for you. And it's a decision that you cannot wait for things to get better for you to make. So I had to take all the frustration, the fear, and all the not any evidence that I will win, I will get out of there or anything like that, and decide I will try it regardless. I just have to try. Sometimes people ask me, what kept you going? And I said, my vision. Why did I come here in the first place? And that's what sometimes keeps you going, right? When things get rough, whatever it is that you start, maybe it's a new business, maybe it's a new training, whatever that is, and things get rough. Why did you start it in the first place? If it's strong enough, it can keep you going. So that's how I was able to survive 9 months, just making that difficult decision every day to not give up, to give it a try, at least try to go to court, have a trial, and have a judge decide to send me back, but not me to give up. So that was just that I had to keep going. And eventually the 9 month, the judge heard me and I won my case. Another miracle, because I remember I came back in the detention center and I told everybody, I won. And they're like, come on, get it. That's not true. She's messing with us. They had to actually read the paperwork from court to say, oh my gosh, this is true. She actually won her case. So yeah, and then interestingly, after that, people started winning because they saw it was possible.
I admire your strength and your courage and your resilience. You are an incredibly inspirational woman, Christelle. Thank you for sharing that story. Wow.
Thank you.
Just amazing, amazing. The inner strength and the courage is just phenomenal. So how have these experiences then helped shape the Christelle you are today, both personally and professionally, would you say?
Yes, I think I'm a different person because now the language of it's impossible really don't work with me. Actually, it's like there is something that switches off in my brain as soon as someone says, oh, no, that's not possible. I remember when I decided to promote my coaching business on podcast, I was in a pod because I was in a coaching program and we had pods to support each other. And I asked, because one of the pod members was a podcast host, and I asked her, hey, how can I get on podcast to promote my services? And she said, well, I don't think a podcast host will want to have you on their show at this stage. I said, why not? She said, you don't even have a website. You don't have a freebie. And then she listed the things that I didn't have and that I needed before thinking about getting on podcast. And my brain just remembered that time they told me in jail, nobody wins their case here, and I will. And so when she said it, I just said to myself, you watch me. And then I figured it out. I figured out how to get on podcast without any of the things that she listed. So I would go there and just tell people, if you like what I say, book a call on my calendar. I had no freebie. So I just did it. So that's why I say I think I'm a different person now, because now I don't believe. And it's like every time I hear that you can't, I just feel the need to make it happen, to confirm what I realized in that situation, that actually nothing is really impossible like that until it says it's said impossible because no one has ever done it, but it doesn't mean that nobody can do it. What if I'm the person? What if I can at least give it a shot, right? Listening, just at least think, okay, let's try. Let me not just hear from other people. Let me try and see what happens.
Exactly.
So that's one of the biggest change.
I love it. If you look at the word impossible, it's I'm possible. So there you go. I love it. Amazing. Amazing. What has been then one of the biggest or most valuable takeaways for you through all of that experience?
I learned a few things. People are really important. because I was talking earlier about the decision that I had to make every day to not give up. I also want to add the people that I met there, that were there when I was crying, that were there to give me advice, share the information that they had. Mm-hmm. And that just taught me that the power of community, because I didn't know those people before I got there. They didn't know me. Life put us together, and they were the right people that I needed at that very moment. So sometimes we feel lonely. I was feeling lonely, but I just want you to remember, if you're listening to this, that there is someone somewhere that can listen to you. You feel lonely, but there are people out there that will be just the people you need at that exact moment, to hold your hand, to wipe your tears, to encourage you, to motivate you. And they come in different shape and form. They can be coaches, they can be programs, they can be whatever that looks like, or business partners or friends. Just don't feel isolated, because I could have, but during those times, those women were really a powerful support system for me, and I could not be more grateful. So yeah, that's one thing that I learned, that we are really never alone. We are always placed in situations where there is someone, at least one person, that can be there to hold our hands through that difficult process we are going through. So that was one thing, and that has helped me now. It's easier for me, which wasn't. People always think I'm strong. I don't know why they think that. So it's
because of your story.
Nope, not even before that. Even before that, even back in Cameroon, my friends never really believed that something affected me to the point where I cried. So every time I will say I feel bad, they'll be like, "No, you too, come on." So for some reason, people always think that I'm strong. And that really made me sometimes not want to ask for help, not want to, because I thought nobody will care. But that time made me realize that there are people who actually care. And now more and more, I know I can count on people, which was something that I had to learn. And yeah, so those are valuable lessons in life, because I think they follow us everywhere. We have to understand that we are in this life thing together.
That's right. We can't do this thing called life alone.
Yeah.
We can't do business alone. We can't do life alone. And it's actually a sign of strength when you're able to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness like we've been conditioned to believe it is. It's a sign of strength. I think that not asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Absolutely.
Even though we've been conditioned that way, nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah, asking, it requires a lot of strength.
It does, for sure. And courage, 100%. What lights you up or inspires you the most about the work you do?
Listen, yesterday I have one client who, the first interview that she did on a podcast that I booked her on, and actually was her first experience on a podcast, was released yesterday. So in the evening, I listened to it and I was so happy, right, to hear her. I didn't coach her to speak. She got training to speak. That wasn't my doing. But I was just happy to see that she wasn't intimidated to be on a podcast for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I was able to give her tips on how to make it better for her and for her business. So it lights me up to see that the people who actually have something to share with the world, I give them the opportunity to do so. That really make me happy to do what I do, because thank God for hosts like you, Brad, who have these platforms. Experts can help spread the word with people that need it. So it really make my heart sing to know that I'm doing that matchmaking where the right platform with the right experts, and then I put them together, and knowing that the word is being spread and as many people as possible are hearing what they need to hear at a specific moment. Maybe someone is going through a difficult time, and a simple story that someone shares on a show can make a whole difference for them, right? Maybe someone was looking for a solution for a problem.
Yeah.
And me knowing that, I put people on a podcast and someone heard them and say, oh my gosh, it's exactly what I was looking for. Where's their website? That really makes my heart sing.
It's an incredible gift to be able to provide that space for people to come on and share their stories with the hopes of helping, reaching, and inspiring others, and that they benefit from that. It's such a beautiful gift that we're able to give people to do that. It's amazing. It really is. On the flip side of that coin, what is one of the most challenging parts of the work you do, would you say?
Yeah, the most challenging part is that I work with so many people in so many different industries that's really crazy. Sometimes you say, oh my gosh, okay, So now this new client that speaks on something that I never really paid attention to. Okay, now I have to focus. now I have to find the shows for them and understand, because it's really important to first understand, because even when you're pitching them on shows, it's important to see the match and show the match to the host. So that's challenging to always be in. I know niching is really important in business, but in what I do, I can't say, no, I'm not going to work with you because I don't understand your business, right? So if I believe that you are really out there, you're heart-centered, you're out there to help, I will make the effort to understand how you help and then present you, position you in the best way possible so that as many people as possible know how you help. So that's the main challenge. Really have to shift my brain all the time. I'm glad I have a team that helps me. I'm really grateful for them. But always being exposed to new things and say, okay, now I have, okay, cool, this is new. Let's figure it out. Let's make it happen. Or with that constant change. It's not as easy, but it's fun.
Challenging. How do you ensure that your connections are authentic and mutually beneficial rather than merely transactional or superficial?
Always try to see, to take it as if I was the one on the other side, what will really work for me? What will make me happy? For example, the last time we discussed, we were talking about what I offer in my packages. There are things that were not there that are there now. Because yes, my clients paid me already to work with me. So I really don't have any incentive to add more value on something they already paid for. But I do, because I just keep thinking about how to really make them feel good about their investment. And that's going to be a win situation, right? I'm already completing my part of the contract. They paid me at booking them on shows. But really, I always like to go above and beyond, because I'm always thinking, if I was on the other side, how would this make me feel? If I realize that the person that I hired to do something is finding ways to make it better. The other day, I got a text from one of my clients who said, I really like what you're doing with all our interviews on social media. I say, I'm happy that makes you happy. So that feels good to see that, okay, what you're doing is giving value, because he was surprised because it wasn't part of our conversation when he signed up. He didn't know I was going to be doing that, but I'm doing it, right? Because when I think about a new idea that will make their experience better, I just implement it. Because if I was a client, if I was on the other side, that will make me feel good to know that somebody's not just thinking, okay, they paid me, this is exactly what they paid me for, I'm sticking to it. No, but actually they are thinking of ways to make it better. I would be happy if I was a client, so I'm providing that. So,
For sure. And in addition to doing that, though, you're also, besides adding value, you are also enhancing the marketing ability for your business too, because the experience you're giving to your clients, they're going to talk about you and what they've benefited from the experience that you provided for them. So it's twofold. It helps grow your business. It helps establish and keep connections and relationships built as well, which is so important. As we both know in the podcasting world, relationships are everything.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why I really make it a point to promote my clients' interviews as well is that you're right. This is a collaboration we're having with hosts. And some clients don't understand that they need to promote their interviews. Sometimes, I explain that to all of my clients. But, people always have that in the back of their mind that, well, I already shared my expertise on their show, gave them content. So why do I have to promote it again? It's not a favor. So that's why I promote, because it's a good gesture. It's just showing you a good guest. And also, as you mentioned, it helps you as a podcast guest to also establish your credibility in front of your existing audience. So you promoting the interviews, not a favor that you're doing to the host at all.
No,
so
it's for you.
I understand that. That's why I create the promo material for my clients. I promote it myself on my platforms. The other day, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, it's not good on LinkedIn to post more than one time a day because it messes up with the numbers. And I said to myself, LinkedIn gods will do what they have to do, but I will have to keep promoting my clients. The LinkedIn gods will do their thing. I'll do mine, right? I'm not going to
There you go. I love it. How do you align your passion for connecting people with a sense of purpose or mission? And how does this alignment drive your efforts in building relationships?
Yeah, I think I touched on that earlier when I mentioned how what I do right now connects with my purpose from the time I was a little girl. I really believe that the same way I know sharing my experience with people helps, I really think that's my mission, really encourage people, empower people. And I'm always happy to hear. And yesterday I was on a podcast and the host was asking me what I want the auditors, the listeners to know right away. That was the first question. I say, if anything, I just want them to be inspired and empowered at the end of this interview. Even if they don't want to engage with me, if they feel inspired or empowered to do something, that interview will have been perfect. So if I believe that by me sharing my story, by me putting myself out there and even promoting my services, I'm empowering people, I'm inspiring people, what I do is really part of that purpose because I'm encouraging other people to do the same with their own journey, with their own story, with their own expertise. So that really makes me more motivated because I know that the work that I do is beyond providing a service, is really making a difference in the world. And that's really, sometimes I tell people, and I know this is not a business thing to say, but this is making my little girl happy, right?
Yeah.
I know that's not a marketing strategy or anything like that, but this is making my little girl happy. So you will not get that. But for me, it's more than a business. For me, it's really life's mission. So I take it really serious.
That's exactly the way I feel about the podcast is I don't have a choice. This is what I was put here to do. I can't not do this work because it is that important to the world because it's about leaving an impact on the world. It's about providing a space for women like yourself to share their stories and share their journeys with the hopes of helping, reaching, or inspiring as many people as we possibly can. But I mean, really, when it comes down to if we can just inspire one person with your story today, Christelle, that's our job done. Of course, we want to inspire as many as we possibly can, but the goal is to hit one. And if we do that, then I know that I can go to bed and sleep well because I've helped you share your story and we together have helped inspire another human being and created impact in the world. And that's what we're all here for.
Absolutely. It takes one to make a big difference, right? Remember,
that's right.
It took all the people that were telling me in detention, no one has ever won. It's impossible to win, even with a lawyer. It took one person, me, to change that story.
Yeah, and now look, as you said, others then started winning their cases.
Started winning their cases. So it takes one person to make a difference. You don't worry about, I want to change the whole world. It doesn't matter. One person.
One person, one
yourself.
story. That's right. One person, one story at a time. That's how we do it. You can't look at the whole staircase. You have to take it one step at a time. Because if you look at the whole staircase, that's when overwhelm sits in. And then you just give up. You won't do anything. So it's one step at a time. What advice would you offer to individuals aspiring to become super connectors or enhance their networking skills?
So I would advise them to be genuine. Really, what gets you into it? That's why I say that I love to work with heart-centered entrepreneurs because why are you connecting with people? You have to be genuine in that intention to connect. Is it just to get something or you truly believe that you also can provide something to the person you want to connect with? And that comes down to the people that will reach out to be on a podcast, for example, and once they deliver the interview, they wash their hands. So you're not really connecting to really give also something. You just come with an intention to receive. So connection is an exchange. It's really a relationship that you're trying to establish. In which, if we're talking about relationship, no one wants to be in a relationship where they don't get anything. It doesn't work like that. So if you want to become a connector, and it's easy or not, if you think about other people, it's always easy to remember that, hey, actually, I believe Brad will want to talk about this lady because she has an incredible story. It's going to be easier to reach out and say, hey, I believe you want to talk to this lady because I see that this is going to be valuable for Brad, his listeners, and that lady. So that's how you have to be that type of connector, always thinking about what's going to bring value to the whole relationship. Sometimes it doesn't bring value to yourself. Sometimes I get people booked on shows for free. They're not my clients, but they say, hey, maybe I want, and then I say, okay, I know a host that is really flexible. They're always looking for guests. So let me just connect you with their booking agent. I'm not going to do the work because I'm a client, but at least I give you the connection that gets you on a show. That's not a relationship I'm getting something out of right away, but it's just that willingness to be of service when you can When it doesn't
That's right.
require you to go out of your way, why not? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
And because when I do that, the host is happy, they have great guests, and the person too is happy. I didn't get any money, but fine. But at least
that's
people
okay.
are happy.
You are in and of service to someone. And that, again, is another part of why we're here on this planet, is to be in and of service to one another. So it's a beautiful thing. It makes you feel good to be able to do that for somebody.
Yeah, and people, believe it or not, people love to help.
Yeah, of course.
It's in us to feel that we are doing something good. We are helping.
Yes. What has been one of the biggest or most important lessons you've learned about relationships and connection since you started Exposure Maven? And how do you implement that or those lessons that you've learned in your day-to-day life and your business?
Yeah, relationships have to be nurtured, right? It's not something that is one time and it's done for life. No. As I was sharing earlier, someone pays me, buy one of my packages, and then I start getting them on podcasts. That should be like, okay, no communication is needed because it's done for your service. But you have to nurture the relationship. You have to stay in touch regardless, right? To just make sure, as I was sharing yesterday, I messaged my client to tell her, hey, I heard your interview was great. Next time, make sure to maybe try this and see how it works. Because it's part of nurturing a relationship. When you get into a relationship with someone, you don't want it to die because it will. You have to nurture it. And when you nurture it, sometimes you don't think you're getting something in return, but just know that if you're coming from that place, it's easier for the other person to return that effort or that same energy. People will give back that energy that they receive from you. So that's really one thing that is important. Is it important for business in general? Yes. Every business is a people business anyway.
Of course.
It's people buying whatever you're selling.
Yeah.
So it's always a people thing and it's a relationship process. So you have to always remember that's something that have really anchored with my business. You have to nurture those relationships. No matter what you do in your business, remember that working with people, you have to nurture those relationships. For people, your client need to be happy. And they are not only happy because you delivered on the service they paid for, but also how you make them feel. That's important. People will always remember you, remember the way you made them feel.
That's right.
That's important.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Love it. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think the fact that I care. That would be interesting to be an interesting thing to say. I have a lot of other things that I needed to run a business, but I think the fact that I care is important because that drives everything else. If I didn't care, I wouldn't think of adding more things to make it more valuable for the client, but because I care about them having a good experience, because I care about them getting results. Because one thing also we have to know is that, I got on podcast and nothing happened. Yeah, what did you do after? Did you promote it? So because I care about them seeing results, that's why I go the extra mile. That's why I do things that maybe were not included in their initial package when they sign up with me, because I care about not just offering good customer experience, but also them having results. So I think that's really superpower that I don't think everybody has that.
Yeah.
Right? I have worked with people who didn't care that much. They were like, well, this is what you paid for. This is what I delivered with. Good.
We're done.
You can't sue me. You can't sue me. I delivered.
I held up my end of the contract.
But I think caring is important and I care. I think that's superpower.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does the word success mean to you?
I know that's a big word, success. And I think everybody define their own success. And for me, success is really the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and think, I'm exactly where I need to be at this moment. I'm doing exactly what I need to do at this point in time. Because if we decide that success is based on a goal, meaning once I reach this goal or once I achieve this goal, then I will consider myself successful. I think we are jeopardizing our chances to be successful because by the time you hit the goal, you are not even the same person in the process. So how do you know that will make you feel the way you think today that will make you feel? So today, it's important for you to just look at yourself and say, I'm doing exactly what I need to do. I don't know any better. Maybe tomorrow I will know better and things will be different. I will wonder, why did I even want that goal anyway? Because I'm different today. And I don't even understand how I set this as a goal. So your success shouldn't be based on tomorrow. Once this thing happen, because tomorrow again, you will be someone completely different. After all the experiences you will have had in the process, your perspective in life may have changed. Everything will be different. So today is the day to evaluate your success. Are you doing something that lights you up? Can you look at yourself and smile and say, you're trying your best. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're doing your best. You're giving your best. Does it always work? No. Is it always perfect? Mm-mm. But at least you're showing up. You're giving your best. So for me, that's success. Knowing that, going to bed, knowing that I gave my best today. So this was a successful day. I'm happy.
Love it. What is an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for?
That I was in jail. Doesn't sound like a blessing, but yeah, I mean, do I want that to happen again? No. So universe, don't take it as she wants more. No, I don't want more. But enough. I learned everything I needed to learn. But I call it a blessing because I'm not the same person, and in a good way, right? So I will not have as a strong story as I have today without that experience. I will not see life the way I see life without that experience. I will not really be the person I am today. So that's a blessing that taught me so much about life. That's why when during the pandemic, everybody was like, oh, we live in uncertain times. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was confused even. Said, when has life ever been certain?
Exactly.
But then all of a sudden, everybody was, oh, we live in uncertain times. No, life is always uncertain. And that's something that I learned during that time more, because I thought having a visa was enough. I checked all the boxes, did everything right. But life happened because life is always uncertain. So now I live without knowing. It doesn't make me afraid of tomorrow, but just knowing that I'm ready. Whatever life throws my way, I have what it takes. That's one thing else. As I was sharing earlier, I would have never thought I can survive one night in jail, but I did. So now I know better than to take myself for granted. Now I know better to underestimate myself, because every time my brain wants to tell me that I can't, I remember that, listen, I didn't know I could survive 9 months in jail, and I did. So what else can I do? This is tough right now, but hey, if I was able to survive there, I'm sure I can see this through. So that's why I say that was a blessing, because it taught me so much about myself and about my way of seeing life.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That is very wise. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
The word empowerment for me means really seeing your power. I know sometimes when people hear that, they think something is coming to give you power. But for me, empowerment really means seeing your power. Because I truly believe that we don't give ourselves enough credit.
As you proved with your own story.
So being empowered is being aware of your own power, being aware of what you're truly capable of. That's you being empowered to see your true value. So that's my definition.
Love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 2, 3, 4 word answer type thing, okay?
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Brave.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Impact.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would that be?
Love.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
My courage.
If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
The girl who never gave up.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
A husband. How about that?
There you go. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I didn't send you this question ahead of time. I just threw this in at the end after I sent this to you. It's like a bonus question. I wanted to try something different. If you could take one feeling or one belief and bottle it up and give it to people, what would it be?
Courage.
Beautiful. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
What scares you?
Go ahead.
To be forgotten.
What is your why, Christelle?
My why really is that I know that I am here to make a difference in the world, and I will not stop until I see that difference. The reason why I do everything that I do is to make a difference. Whatever that looks like in the moment, it can be through me speaking or working with the client. Whatever that I do, I just want to make sure that I'm making a difference. That is what drives me every minute of every day. That's my strongest
Love
why.
it. Love it. What's something surprising that you've learned about yourself in the last year?
I have learned that I can lose everything and start from scratch.
That's a powerful lesson. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
It would be Candace Owens. Why? Because I admire how she can say what she has to say and stand by it. I admire her courage. I admire that she doesn't follow the crowd. Sometimes she has unpopular opinions, doesn't stop her from sharing it anyway.
I love that woman. That woman is incredible. She is powerful.
Yeah.
And you're right. She stands by her convictions. I mean, look at what's happened to her lately.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
The Daily
crazy.
Wire got rid of her.
Exactly.
It's insane.
It is.
Just for her beliefs.
Just because they don't like it or it doesn't fit the narrative. And she didn't back down. I love that. Yeah.
Amazing choice. Amazing choice. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
You will do it. You'll figure it out. When when you asked the question, I saw myself, that little girl, looking at one specific person in our neighborhood and asking that my question, is this person happy? I just stand by that little girl and say, you know what? You will do it. You will be able to help people.
And you are, with your story, with the work you do, everything. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Lastly, Christelle, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
I will tell them that you have everything within yourself right here, right now, to make a difference. And you are here to make a difference. You are not here for no reason. There is a reason why you're here. And again, you have everything that you need at this very moment to do what you're here to do. And every experience that you're having right now or that you will have in the future is exactly what you need to be prepared for the moment that you're here to accomplish. So don't be afraid. Don't get discouraged. Don't think life is coming at you too hard. Life is preparing you for the big mission that you're here to accomplish. And each step of the way, you will always have everything that you need at that very moment to move forward.
Oof. Mic drop moment right there. Beautiful words of inspiration. Christelle, thank you so very much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. This conversation has been absolutely incredible, inspirational, beautiful. I am honored to be connected to you, to be able to call you a friend and to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you for taking and making the time to be here with me today and to share your story and journey with the hopes and certainty that we will inspire, help, and reach others through your story. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for allowing me to have a chat with your people.
My pleasure and my honor. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Christelle Biiga. She is a super connector and the founder and owner of the platform Exposure Maven. Thank you so much, Christelle. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.